Hey, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson, always excited to be with you and to share the news with you, folks. We will have a guest coming on here momentarily, but I wanted to get this stream rolling, and I wanted to talk about some big breaking news that took place in Venezuela. Okay, so if you haven't heard, there's something major taking place, and if you're wondering why Trump is going so hard on Venezuela, you're about to find out. We also have more indications of fraud in the state of Minnesota, and we have something new taking place there as well in regards to going after the fraudsters. That's Keith Ellison and Tim Walz. Keith Ellison was on tape, basically accepting campaign donations in regards to work. I'm still working on that video. I know I've told you, I promised you I'm going to get that out. I will. We're going to cover some other issues today. And then also Ilhan Omar. I've got a really crazy story about Tim Walz that you probably have not heard that I can't wait to share with you. So there's a lot to cover in this stream today. So do me a favor, please smash that like, do chat in with where you're from. And folks, as always, do go check out my sponsor, MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack, folks. Save up to 66%. It's actually up to 80% with some of the other deals. The Christmas specials are going on strong. Free shipping on your entire order. Big products, small products, it doesn't matter. They got the Bible pillows over there for kids. It's just awesome products over at MyPillow right now. So I'm going to start out with this piece right here on what's going on with the Trump administration and Tim Walz.
Trump and Republicans are railing against Governor Tim Walz, and the House Oversight Committee, which has launched its own investigation into the fraud, is now requesting documents, records, and communications from both Walz and State Attorney General Keith Ellison after reports they and other state officials may have been warned and ignored those warnings, allowing this fraud to happen.
The state employees in Minnesota rang the bell. They blew the whistle that there was massive fraud, and yet Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, apparently turned a blind eye to that for fear of political retaliation from the large voting bloc.
Is anybody surprised that Tim Walz and Keith Ellison turned a blind eye? Not only did they turn a blind eye, but I am telling you, Keith Ellison was on the take. So, well, Ilhan Omar was on the pay. Keith Ellison was on the take. This whole story is nuts.
Of Somalis.
Yeah, close to 80,000 Somalis live in Minnesota. They have become a powerful voting bloc for Democrats. But there are now multiple federal investigations into this fraud. Folks close to those cases tell us that what we've seen so far may be just the tip of the iceberg.
Folks, I'll guarantee you it is just the tip of the iceberg. Every day a new fraud story comes out in Minnesota. I want to get into this Venezuela story because it's huge. But first, I want to cover something else. Another fraud story. I don't know if all of you have heard about this one, but the Trump administration has uncovered massive foreign trucker illegal license operation in Minnesota. Now, this has been going on in California, too. If you've been following this news at all, there's been cases before the courts regarding this. But what are called non-domiciled trucking license, non-domiciled CDLs. I had to look into all that and what that means. But people are given the ability to have a license here, but they don't actually have to learn all of our rules of the road. It's pretty insane. So this is another fraud, another scandal involving Tim Walz. In Minnesota. A third of Minnesota's non-domiciled commercial driver's licenses reviewed in a recent audit by the Department of Transportation, or DOT, were illegally issued, Secretary Sean Duffy announced Monday. Oh, hey, look, I got a guest joining us here too, folks. I'm going to bring him in real quick. There we have the Mike Lindell. Mike, good to see you. Hey, you know, I know you haven't officially announced, Mike, but the word's out. I mean, the word's out on the street. You filed some paperwork.
Well, we had to file, everybody. Yesterday was the deadline to file, and we like I said, I'm 99.9%, but we're going to announce for sure next one way or another on next Thursday, December 11th, and but yeah, it leaked. The first leak, was the Star and Tribune called me up and they said, Mike, you filed this, and but we were required to file, otherwise I wouldn't even have the option. But as you've all seen, and there's just a few last things that I had to do. One of them was personal. And the other two the other two is, for me, there's a lot of, I have Lindell TV, you guys. I have My Pillow. One of the things for me personally, I wanted to make sure My Pillow, because I've spent that is okay, because I spent the last 2 years fighting Arctic frost and every attack known to man to keep My Pillow going. And I can't be if I'm going to be running a state or running to win it to be a state, I've got to have, that's all got to be over here, and knowing that it's in a safe place. And you guys, I'm happy to say that just this past Thanksgiving here, I finally woke up and said, wow, we made it through where we're My Pillow's here to stay. And in fact, we're going to do the press conference will be at the factory at My Pillow, with all my employees that are so appreciative, of your audience that has helped get us through with all the specials and the sales that we've got from your show. And I'm not kidding you guys, it means the world to us, because remember, we lost a lot of our TV cancellation, box stores, Arctic frost. We lost our merchant server, 4 banks. It's
I thought it was 3. I said 3 earlier.
No, there's a 4th one, and that one was well, I'm counting American Express. I guess I shouldn't count that.
Got it.
It's counting American Express. But I consider that was our bank. We've never been late in our life. They just pulled our credit line, but these were all contacted by our own government. And imagine a ship, Neil, going, and you're going, and everyone's just blowing you full of holes, and this side sinking, and you're on there, you're directing traffic, going, fill that hole, move over here, move this, and all of a sudden, boom, another thing goes off. That's been My Pillow as a company. It's like, and then you run into another ship, where you're going, hello, and you talk to them and say, hey, can we get some supplies? And they go, you got to pay cash. And we're going, in the meantime, boom, you get the other part of the ship blown off. So anyone that said, I know the comments came out yesterday, what does Mike know about running a government? He's not a politician. Well, let me tell you, I built businesses, a huge business from being in the street. Nobody handed me anything. I'm a former crack addict.
Mike, I can't help but laugh, because I personally know, because I've dealt with you through these last couple of years,
right.
And I knew when the banks switched. I mean, the checks were coming from different banks and everything. And for somebody to say, what would he know? The fact is, look, I'm covering another story of fraud. I don't know if you've heard of here, let me just throw this up real quick, folks. Go check out the deals right now at MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack. Big savings, folks. Christmas specials going on right now.
And free shipping on your entire order, everybody. We just put these specials up. I want to say this. These are our 5 flagship products, our best-selling 5 of all time. We did it for your audience. Our pillows, $14.98. You got them some nice slippers, $39.98, and the free leathers protector. And then we have we've also put on the Giza Dream Sheets as low as $29.98. But we put all these up here. The socks made in the USA, but Mike, the crosses, what a gift! What a gift!
I haven't put it on my menu, but I can't believe this waffle blanket is made out of Giza cotton. It's so soft. I love it. Okay, I can't shut up about it. But I don't want to take away from this story that we're just covering. So I'm going to pull this out real quick, and I want to bring this back, Mike, to this. I don't know if you've heard about this new, but to finish up, folks, to think that somebody who's run a business where he's constantly in a shortfall and constantly having to juggle things, and he's been able to maintain it. And I know some of you complain, well, he's out of this product, of course, because he's constantly juggling the funds so much. Mike, I think you've done an amazing job keeping as much in stock as you have under a constant lawsuit, constant debanking, and all of that. So I think you'd be perfect to run a state and actually pull it out of the fraud and the big financial hole we're in right now. But did you see this one? A third of Minnesota's non-domiciled commercial driver's licenses reviewed in a recent audit by the Department of Transportation were illegally issued. Now, this goes back. This is going on Gavin Newsom's California. It's going on all over the place. This is not just a Minnesota, California problem, but it's interesting on the back of all the other fraud that we have in Minnesota. Now we have this. The review was
Neil, before I want to comment on that. I just seen a video this morning from St. Cloud, Minnesota. that they asked him, what problems do you see up here with they brought up the Somalians, and the guy said the number one problem is there's an accident every day here because they got just driver's licenses, and like whether they were here legally or not, and whether they overstayed their visa, it doesn't matter. But that's a big problem up there, and it's interesting you brought that up. You just handed these illegals a driver's license. I mean, and it's amazing that which side of the road they're driving on. But he said there's an accident every day involving them. And
well, this is like, I just did a video yesterday. What's her name? Mary Moriarty, the district attorney out of Minneapolis, was saying that there is no such thing as gangs of Somalians terrorizing. But friends on the police department, this is a real problem. The cop who was featured in the documentary about Somalian gangs works in Minneapolis because he's had so much work with them. The Somalian youth gangs are out there roving the streets. Okay, this isn't a racist thing to say, folks.
No.
This is a cultural problem. We bring in unvetted people who are not assimilating to our country. In fact, now, Mike, God darn it, you got me off track. I'm going, I'm pulling this next piece in. I want y'all to watch this.
It's always been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic.
Wow, talking about Trump, that is the most original line I've ever heard. Racist, xenophobic.
And Islamophobic. We know that
Islamophobic is a word that is just made up to classify people who are opposed to the ideas of Sharia law and Islam, okay, and then to call it a phobia. It's not a phobia,
right.
And we get to see the actual results of Sharia law. This is ridiculous.
No, it is. African nations a shithole in his first administration. We know that when he came down that escalator, he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country. And so it is not surprising that he is going after black immigrants in this country. And it's certainly not surprising that he's choosing a black immigrant community that is also Muslim. But what I would like to say is that most of us are citizens. On our passport, it says we are nationals of this country. We love that Minnesota has welcomed us. Many of us have not been settled in Minnesota. We chose it as a home because the Minnesota people and the state is beautiful and very welcoming. And we are going to be here regardless of what the president has to say.
Now, interesting.
Hey, wait, Neil,
I need to make a point here before I forget, Mike, because you'll get me off track. Right. This is weaponized compassion. She's right. The people in Minnesota are generally welcoming. That's the compassion of Minnesotans being weaponized against them for a radical takeover. Now we have an 80,000 vote block of Somalians who consistently vote Democrat, and that's why they were brought here.
And that's just I believe that's just in Minneapolis. I think it's closer to 150, 200,000 statewide. But I want to say something about that. Did you notice she didn't say, I love Minnesota, I love our country. She said, I love that Minnesota welcomed us. And that and a lot of us have visas and we're legally here. She didn't say all of them. Notice she didn't say that. You guys, I'm going to take you back in time to me and Ilhan Omar, okay? Back, and I didn't know anything about Muslims. I didn't know anything about that. I was saying, I'm an ex-crackhead. I didn't know anything about politics. After Donald Trump won the election in 2020 or 2016, I was on CBS Sunday morning, and Esme Murphy asked me, Mike, if you're a Muslim and you're living here in Minneapolis and in Minnesota, you're very worried Donald Trump won. What would you say to them? And I just said, you just tell them Jesus has his hand in all of this. And I went on about Jesus. Well, the headlines in the Tribune, Mike Lindell says the Muslims need Jesus. I didn't know they didn't have Jesus. I didn't know anything about it. So now
everybody needs Jesus, Mike.
Everybody. So now get this. Then fast forward, we were going on, Ilhan Omar and I were both going on Esme's show, and we get in the green room. Now, I had never badmouthed her, anyone else for me. I'm going, I just put all my thing into Donald Trump back in 2016 because I had met him. I thought, wow, he's going to be I never met a candidate for presidency before, but he'd make a great president. So anyway, we're going to go in there and we're going to be talking about I didn't know what we were going to be talking about, but I think it was about maybe the comment I made about Jesus, right? So just Omar and I were in the green room together, and she goes, "Are you ready for this, Mike?" And we're kind of arguing back and forth, and now I'm going to stick up for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, right? Well, Esme comes walking in there. She goes, "Oh, no, you two aren't going on at the same time." They wouldn't have us on together. It would have been something, because I'll tell you,
that would have been entertaining. Why wouldn't they do that? I mean, I think that's what they wanted.
It would have been, because I don't change. I'm not going to stand down for anything like this. And this is horrific. By the way, everybody, this just came out too yesterday. I don't know if it's true yet, that Keith Ellison, our Attorney General, that's attacking my Lindell Recovery Network, my Christian network, trying to wipe it off the planet for you, helping addicts get to Jesus, says that he might be involved in all this. We know Waltz is going to cover up, but it said that he got campaign money. Now, I don't know if it's true yet, but there's
Mike,
a lot of it.
Now you're bringing me off track again. I got the whole thing. I've got the audio recording. I'm trying to make a video on it.
Oh, okay.
So I've got the audio recording and everything here.
Wow.
So folks, tune in for the video I drop on Keith Ellison, because I will give you audio tracks and everything. I will show you what Mike is saying is completely true. It's quid pro quo. I'll take your money. Money is freedom, he says to the people. It's a wild story. It's a wild ride. And so what's really interesting is now, and I don't know if you saw my start, but basically Congress and the Trump administration are putting pressure, investigatory pressure, on both Walz and Ellison. And Ellison's on tape. The tape is there. So I don't know where this is all going to go. I mean, but Trump is ratcheting up the pressure. And Mike, there's a lot of people. I want to ask you a serious question. You're running, ostensibly running for governor of Minnesota. You haven't made an official announcement yet, but I want to ask you a real question here in terms of, a lot of people say a Republican can't win in Minnesota. Now, I have my own thoughts on that, because from 2003 to 2011, I believe it was, Tim Pawlenty was our governor. And Tim Pawlenty, he wasn't quite as conservative as I wanted, but he was a pretty good governor. Okay, I'm just going to say Tim Pawlenty was a reasonably good governor. His leftover campaign funds all went to Teen Challenge. I know you like Teen Challenge as well. But but people are going to say, well, I just don't think Mike Lindell can win in Minnesota. I mean, no, I don't even know if any Republican can win, but certainly not Mike. So how do you battle that? And I also want to, and before you answer that, let me play one other clip. And because the fraud is real, we're going to talk about Venezuela here in just a minute, but I want you to watch this clip. This is a throwback clip. So this is Hidden Camera Project Veritas, and how to pull these films out. And you'll sign it. That's all. Okay, registering these voters. Got it. Tonight we will close the deal. The money, okay? Yes. Now take this money for your pocket change. Okay, can I pull it out? We'll bring it to you. In another tape, a ballot harvester admits to being paid $800 for his
That's
ballot.
illegal. Why? We don't get illegal.
We don't give it.
How much are you? Good one.
$800. $800 for a ballot. $800.
Right.
She's the one who came up with all this.
So she did it. She
Yeah.
started this whole thing with the pay to vote.
Pay to vote.
So the people that work for Ilhan are actually counting the ballots, counting the vote.
And they become a manager in the prison too.
So this is Ilhan Omar's people. They're counting the ballots, Mike. They're counting the votes, and they're in the precinct. If you don't have an absentee ballot, the ballot harvesters vote for you in the polling booth.
They walk with you to the booth, and then they vote. Oh, vote this guy, vote this guy, vote this guy. Vote even if you speak English.
So then we got the Al-Shabaab. I have to pay Al-Shabaab, leave me alone. It's demanding $1,000 from me.
The reason she's fighting for Palestine is because of this guy. So it's all about money and power, and they want her to defund Israel.
Now it's all about defunding Israel. So she's getting foreign money because they all want Israel defunded. This is Al-Shabaab, a terror network. They're sending money back over there. They're paying for the votes, Mike. Okay, so two questions. Number one is, do you think, number one, that a real conservative can win in the state of Minnesota? Okay, and how does that happen? And then number two, we're looking at all this fraud. How do you win in spite of that? You have the floor.
Okay, well, I'm going to say it potentially myself running. I believe that if it's kind of like this, I've seen this stuff go on and on for so long in Minnesota that I believe that one of the reasons I would run is because I feel I'm the only one that could win. And here's why I feel that. As you see things unfolding now, you're not going to see, like, let's put ourselves in, let's say a year from now, okay, in the election. Maybe there'll be enough fear in any of these illegals or these Somalians that are here that they don't do this, okay? Maybe they'll actually have fear of going to prison or to be deported and all this stuff. But for the other thing I'm going to say is if I run, it's not going to be, I don't have to run on, look at Waltz, look at this, look at the fraud, look at this. Everybody knows that. I'm going to run on the solutions. I have many solutions I've thought about and prayed about for a long time. Okay. And I believe that I will be able to pull the inner city, the blacks, the Hispanics, those people. Like when I went to Chicago and I questioned all those people in their inner city, why are you voting for Donald Trump? A lot of you don't even like him. They go, no, we don't like him. But you know what? The illegals are taking all of our resources. And in Minnesota, it's so pronounced. That money was earmarked to help people that really needed it. People that I grew up with in the inner city of Minneapolis, where I've been there. When I came out of addiction to help all the people, I did work with Teen Challenge, Salvation Army, Union Gospel to help all the people. I wanted the people that had the problems in the city with the out of addiction, or there's a lot of other things, and this would get into what I'm going to do. But I have laid out where you're going to not only get, I believe that I can get so many more people out to vote in a midterm, because this would get national attention. It already did yesterday. It went all the way to the Daily Mail. It got worldwide attention if I run. And I believe with that alone, everyone's going, I would love to come move to your state and vote for you, Mike, and all this, because this is hope for our country. Minnesota would be, if all the people that normally vote in a midterm of the Republicans, I believe that there would be, believe me, I was with the president when he campaigned. You think what I would do? You'd be seeing me so much in every single city in Minnesota. Hey, we're going to get you guys. We have to get out and vote. We have to. This is it. We don't get a second chance. We get one chance for Minnesota in history. This is it. Remember, we've been blue since 1972. 1972. Okay. That for the presidential, for the president. And I'm just saying, Neil, I know I can get these people, it's the problem solutions. I have a whole thing to bring businesses back to the cities. I went down to Minneapolis, and it's so sad. All these empty buildings, and not just retail businesses, but your big skyscrapers empty because there are two things. They don't want to be down there. They can work from home. People don't want to go to the stores because the retail, and they're buying everything online. And then another reason is at night they have fear because the police are gone. And I have friends that live down there that were pretty bad people at one time, and they're afraid to be down there at night now. I mean, come on, this is
it's bad.
So that's what I say. I have those, and if I run which I'll announce next Thursday, these are the things would run on, and these are the things that I know can happen with if I run versus someone else, because it's not going to get that attention. Sure, Waltz got the attention for himself when he ran as vice president. Everybody learned what we knew about this nut job, but I don't have to, to run on that. These other candidates would run that, are you, boy, everybody wants good education and we want, economy and all the typical things, but you better have solutions. And I've got unique solutions that will fix it. It's like a business thing. Hey, we got to fix this thing here. Here's what we're going to do. I've already got them laid out. I've been working on this for a long time. And so the solutions are there, and everyone's going to go, wow, what a great idea. What a great idea.
Let me ask you another question, Mike, because I know I actually know a lot of people in the legislature down there. I've interviewed them and everything, and I was talking with one the other day, and he's like, "Well, I just really think we need a woman from the suburbs. That's who we need to have running as governor."
That's typical blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's typical blah, blah, blah. It really is, you guys. That was the thing where Donald Trump lost Minnesota. Oh, he didn't get the suburban white woman vote or whatever. I mean, that's typical. I was with someone last night, and they go, Mike, you're thinking of running. How much money do you think you have to raise for your campaign to win Minnesota? I go, what are you talking about? Who said a certain amount of money wins an election? That's old school. You know what they did, Neil? Well, if you raise 10 million, if they raise 15, your TV ads, they're not going to have as much TV ads, and it's directly correlated to get the word out. I've got a plan to get the word out, and plus you don't have to spend the kind of money. When I was involved with Donald Trump's, I was a co-campaign manager for Minnesota in 2020, or 2020, 2020, and the stuff that was done wrong for ads and stuff. I made these ads. I'll give an example. I had all these commercial ads. It's just because you make commercials, you better make them that they get your best bang for your buck, right?
Yeah.
And I had made these commercials back then, helped them make them, where all these Democrats were switching to Donald Trump, and they would say why. And it was live. We taped it live, so there'd be all the emotion would be there and stuff.
Yep.
And we did that. And at the last minute, this production people, they changed it and said, we have a room full of Republicans and Democrats, and why they're voting for Donald Trump. You just took everything out of there, because in the person's mind go, oh, it's just a bunch of Republicans. You follow me?
Yeah. No, I have said, Mike, and I firmly believe this, that Republican campaign consultants are the biggest idiots on the face of God's green earth. I've never seen, and I really mean this with all sincerity, having worked extensively in marketing. Most of the people in marketing in that profession are liberals. Okay. Right. It's a creative field, and it does attract mainly liberals. So, I mean, I worked with a lot of liberals in that field. But most conservative campaign consultants, they're just dumb. And I mean that with all sincerity. They don't know how to make a good ad. They go back to these same old tired methods that aren't working.
Right.
I just bring that up because a lot of people are asking those questions. I think a lot of people are excited about your campaign. I'm certainly, my audience, of course, loves you, and so they're excited about the campaign. But they're like, but wait, and this goes back to this whole. It's one of the most frustrating things, because Donald Trump was said to be unelectable. It goes back to the electability argument. And I think, what was the difference? I mean, I can't remember the numbers right now, but you bring up a great point, because Hillary Clinton outspent Donald Trump at a ratio. Was it 8-1 in that?
It might have even been higher than that. At one time in the summer of 2016, in July, there hadn't been any money spent on media yet. I was actually in a backyard with the president. There were maybe 30, 40 people there. It might have been late June. And it got brought up, well, when are you going to spend any money on TV? And he's going, oh, it's coming. But he already got all that free press. You got, all that free press but it's how if I'll tell you what, if I run, you can bet that any of the dollars are going to be spent. You're going to get the biggest bang for your buck in history. And it won't be this traditional, well, that's how, we got to outspend them. I'll tell you what, I'll bet you a lot of donors are tired of that, where they're going, I put money in. What did it get out of it? Like in Virginia, where the election got stolen, the guy just a month ago, he's favored by 9, and the election gets stolen in the middle of the night, and nobody even says about it. How about the donors that poured the money into that, And I don't care. This goes both ways too. I'm talking about in any election, because as you all know, this is a uniparty deep state problem, not just a Democrat Republican thing. And but I just think one of the things too, what I want everybody to know, if you run for governor in Minnesota, you have the rights right out of the gate to access the voting machines.
This is what I love.
And I don't know to what extent, but we're going to look at them to see if they're in compliance. I think I got some people that will do that. So I mean, this is, so when you ask, I think to answer your question, Neil, there's got to be many things that happen, many pieces, and we'll look back a year from now and say, well, if we'd have pulled this piece out, just like with Donald Trump's election in 16, his election in 2016 and 2024, you might pull one little piece out and he doesn't win. Okay, you follow me? I mean, there was things that had to happen in 2016. I'll give an example. In 2016, you guys, and I'm a marketer. I can see things outside looking in. If when they're marketers, they're evil marketers, and they're in their little war room and drawing up their little playbook of how to steal the 2016 election. But one of the things they did when they had sex tape, okay, when they played sex tape, and then a week later or 2 weeks later, everybody, they played that FBI Comer, whatever, he gets on there, he says, we're going to investigate Hillary Clinton. That was just a catch-all, but that was a week before the election. If you flip them two around, Donald Trump loses automatic, because by the time they announce that they're going to do the Clinton thing after the election, that they're going to really look at the tapes, this news over here, a sex tape, had died down. Stuff doesn't stay in it, it had died down. Now you got this other big thing in Clinton. If you flip-flop them, Donald Trump loses, and everybody, there are different things. I could sit here and tell you a stream of things that happened in 16. I met him on August 15th of 2016. There were different things, and I'm not even going to bring up the things that I know now after the fact. I go, wow, what a miracle that happened. What a miracle that that this happened and this happened, or he wouldn't be elected. Same way with 2024, everybody. You think that there's so many things that go into it. So what I'm saying is, with the governor of Minnesota, where everyone says it's impossible and all this stuff, well, things are lining up. You can already see them lining up. What are the odds that all this is coming out of all times right now with this Somalian fraud that they've known about for a long time? And then all Waltz, and now you got Ellison, you got all this corruption tied in. I like to, I'm just waiting. Is Amy Klobuchar going to be called out? I mean,
well, she should be. I can tell you stories about Amy Klobuchar because I've had a personal experience there. But I don't want to get too sidetracked, Mike. I want to get into Venezuela, but there's two more things I need to cover on Minnesota. But before I do, again, I just want to mention, go check out MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack. Big savings on the best sleep products available, folks. 1-800-568-2865. And Mike, it's not just sleep products, okay? Although I will say I want to bring special attention to this because I do it all the time. But this, folks, if you are looking for Christmas gifts for kids, grandkids, these pillows are awesome because you can see the Bible story on the front, and on the back it's got it written. I've got these for my grandkids for Christmas this year. You've got the creation story, Jonah, Noah's Ark, the story of baby Jesus, and then Daniel in the lion's den, and then the entire story on the back so you can read it to them. Mike, the My Cross. And it's not just sleep products. There you have, the My Cross, you've got socks, you got health and
free shipping. You guys, free shipping on your entire order. And check out our health and wellness section, everybody. The health and wellness section. This is a company that these are friends of mine that they're twins. One's a doctor. It's Ineva Health Products. And then you see the Rev 7 there, the best energy drink in history. But you guys, these products are the most amazing products. I take them all the time. I have for years. And so we've got all these things. Do your Christmas shopping, free shipping on your entire order. I can't stress enough. But the Rev 7 drink, you guys,
my God,
it's over the top. No sugar, no caffeine. You got mental clarity. You can think straight. You don't have the crashes. It's but free shipping, everybody. That's a gift for me and myself and my employees. And everybody, shipping is one of the biggest problems this country has, is shipping prices. I don't know if you all know this, but all the shippers raise their price at this time of year because everybody demands it, right? But even before this and after this, as gas you've seen has come down some, the shipping prices haven't come down. What needs to come down is diesel prices, everybody. And that needs to be one of the focuses. And I believe I just seen something our great president put out today, something about the cars and about bringing car prices down, something Obama had in, that Biden put in. But anyway, I'm praying that he can get those diesel prices down. And because once he does,
Well,
the whole economy changes, everybody.
diesel was always less because it's a
Yeah.
less refined product. This is the most absurd thing, that diesel would cost more than gasoline.
Right.
And it never used to be that way. And then that flipped somewhere around the year 2000. And my understanding, Mike, and I don't know, if this is exactly right, but my understanding from remembering back from that time was that there wasn't enough diesel refineries, and they weren't allowing the expansion of diesel refineries. So it's not as much diesel fuel as we need in the market. But then I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't sound accurate because there's always enough diesel to put in the trucks.
Right. Yeah. See, I don't know that, but I think our president, hopefully he's looking into that, because, everyone's going, hey, let's bring down the price of gas so everybody can afford to fill their tank. No, we need to bring down the price of diesel. You know why? Everything you buy, your groceries, your My Pillow products, even though we have free shipping for you all, we're paying high prices, my employer and I, to get the products to you. But everything you buy, that's the number one thing that's keeping those prices up, is this shipping.
Okay, I'm about to drop a bombshell here. Okay, Mike, I'm going to play a video, then I'm going to get to the one more Minnesota thing, and then we got to get over to Venezuela. But this video, I'm going to ask you if you've ever seen this. This is wild stuff. This from Tucker Carlson's show.
Spoken to a couple people that served with Tim Walz in Nebraska in that guard unit, and they suspect, and we've done stories and tried to reach out to Walz for comment, but they suspect that perhaps he took their standard operating procedure, the SOP, for the howitzer army tank. He was assigned to this tank. It was nuclear capable, and this was all laid out in the SOP that goes missing while he's there. And
the manual goes missing?
Right, and they had talked to the FBI about this as well. There's so many questions.
What does that mean? Why did they talk to the FBI?
They think that he was traveling back and forth from China at this time, and then we also know that this howitzer...
Wait.
I know I sound crazy right now.
No, you don't sound crazy at all. You're recounting the facts.
Yeah.
You are saying that men he worked with in the National Guard in Nebraska went to the FBI because they believed he had given classified military secrets to the Chinese government?
They suspect that he did. And
well, they suspected to the point that they went to the FBI.
Well, this was all when all these stories are coming out finally about his background, and they're like, maybe we should talk about this. These are guys that back then didn't report this. This was in the early 90s, and they always talked about it amongst themselves. And I think that they weren't completely aware of, the potential threat something like this could pose, but they always thought this was very strange. And then China started producing almost a carbon copy of this military tank a couple of years later.
Come on. For real?
According to all of our research.
Unbelievable. Folks, I don't know if you guys caught all that, but basically what she's saying is that members of the National Guard unit in Nebraska, where Tim Walz was with, went to the FBI because they felt he was taking the operating manual of this new tank, bringing it over to China. Then China produces a carbon copy of it. That's now, if there's something that should be investigated, that is what it should be investigated. Tampon Tim has no chance. Thanks, Gary.
Well, Neil, this is what I say, everybody, when there's all this stuff coming to light and getting not just national, but worldwide attention, all this stuff is going to come to light. This stuff had no chance of coming out. This is opening doors up, everybody, that no man can shut, including old Tim Walz, right? This is a beautiful thing going on. This stuff will all be opened up and deal with what does that say? The diesel.
They're talking about the diesel, refine more, pull more sulfur out of it to the point that it doesn't hardly smoke anymore. So it was required more and more refining. He's saying that's one of the reasons the expense.
Yeah, I had heard it costs more to make now, but still, you start here. The diesel has not come down with gas. It needs to do whatever has to be done. To be able to get that price down. That's a big thing.
All right, folks, here we go. What's going on in Minnesota? KSTP just dropped the most laughable propaganda bomb of the year. I saw this video yesterday, but this guy summed everything up so well. Follow along. This is wild. Somali Minnesotans driving economic growth pay $67 million in taxes. That was the headline KSTP dropped. Okay, let's run the real math, Minnesota. Buckle up. Their fairy tale numbers come from Bruce Corey's study, the same guy who told us in 2017 that they were already a $1 billion powerhouse, then $3 billion, then $8 billion. Funny how the impact keeps ballooning while poverty, welfare abuse, and fraud indictments explode too. Here's the truth they buried. $500 million in income. They pay $67 million in state local taxes. The effective tax rate is 13%. Nice gig if you can get it. Most working Minnesotans pay 20 to 30% once you add income, sales, and property. And I will guarantee you, folks, I am minimally paying that. Minnesota is taking the top tier bracket in Minnesota, I believe, is 12% now. And you don't even have to make that much to get into that bracket. It's either 10 or 12. I think it's actually 12. But wait, the cost side, they conveniently forget. Feeding our future alone, $250 million plus stolen. Minnesota daycare fraud, mostly Somali run, $500 million plus. COVID relief fraud, same networks, $250 million plus. Autism program looting, $200 million plus and counting. That's over $1.2 billion in confirmed fraud in just the last few years. That is 18 times the taxes they brag about paying. And that's before we count 58% poverty rate in the community, 42% on food stamps, 40% unemployment, billions in remittances shipped overseas, some straight to Al-Shabaab per Treasury alerts. KSTP, didn't report they laundered DFL talking points so Walz's nonprofit cartel can keep the spigot wide open. This isn't economic growth, folks. If you look, here we are, $1.2 billion in confirmed fraud through those networks, 18 times the taxes they brag about paying. And folks, we still haven't counted in the 58% poverty rate, which results in 42% on food stamps, 40% unemployment, meaning they're taking more out of that. So by the time we're all done, this is over 20 times an economic deficit. It is not a plus, okay? KSTP didn't report they laundered DFL talking points, so Walz's nonprofit cartel can keep the spigot wide open. This is the biggest organized welfare heist in Minnesota history, protected by captured media and politicians who get fat donations from the same nonprofits running the scam. KSTP, Minnesota's Pravda, Bruce Corey, Baghdad Bob with a PhD, Tim Walz, the getaway driver. We're not anti-immigrant. We're anti-crime syndicate. In 2026, we're shutting the whole racket down. Who's ready to end the looting? I love this. So there's the KSTP headline too, just so you guys can see. This is absolute insanity. It
really is. You know, isn't it funny? You guys yesterday for when it came out all over, and it was that big story that had filed to run. All of our local media in Minnesota just bashed me. It was all the other media. It wasn't bad. But in Minnesota, other than the Star and Tribune, which I even told that guy, the writer there, I said, I'm going to bash you guys. You're one of the worst papers in the country. And he goes, I know. And
a Red Star.
Yeah. But anyway, I was very disappointed in the Minnesota media there. All four, the local Fox, the KSTP, all of them, CBS, all of them, they just put in the same old thing. Mike Lindell, conspiracy theorist, blah, blah, blah. And it was proven that everything he had was wrong about the elections, about the platforms. And he's being sued right here in Minnesota by a voting machine company where a judge just ruled that Mike Lindell and My Pillow had that ain't the story, you guys. They didn't, they deflected over here doing another hit job on me, which is fine. But it's just, right there in the, how far left are they? How much are they in on it? Why we haven't been able to break out of the Minnesota being a Democrat.
Do you know, Mike, I wonder if it wouldn't make sense, speaking of ads and political ads, because they keep calling you conspiracy theorists, to take that head on and actually bring the footage, because I don't think most people have seen Halderman hacking the machines with a ballpoint pen and the judge coming out and saying he's not a conspiracy theorist. That might be a good one.
Right. That'd be a good little ad. A judge said I wasn't. Come on, guys.
Yeah. we can take a video from my show of you wearing a tinfoil hat.
Yeah. No, they go, well, a judge said you're not a conspiracy theorist, Mike, but you said all judges are bad. No, I didn't say judges are bad at all. I said there's bad judges, but there's also judges that live in fear because they don't want to be the first judge to get rid of these voting machines once and for all. That's what I said. I've never said, all judges are bad. Of course they're not. I think most of them live in fear. Of course, there are some very bad ones, and we know that. The one that put Tina Peters in prison, that guy should be in prison. So should the governor of Colorado, the Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold. Of course, I'm over there bashing another state. Our state says that, Minnesota you just can't grasp the corruption. But I think we're going to maybe we'll lead the way here of all the corruption once they find it all and get it all exposed. And then other states will say, hey, let's dig into our leadership here and see what's going on. And I'm not talking about just Democrats, everybody. I'm talking, if you're living down in Georgia with crooked Brad Raffensperger and your Brian Kemps of the world, those are Republicans. I'm talking about the uniparty that was trying to take our country, so anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring in now the Venezuela story. We're down to about just over 10 minutes left here on the show, and this is a huge story. So I'm gonna bring in Patrick Colbeck's tweet. Breaking message from Hugo Carvajal Barrios, former director of military intelligence, 3-star general, and a deputy in the Venezuelan National Assembly, to the American people. From behind bars, he is warning the American people that the Maduro regime is a criminal organization. If you guys wonder why Donald Trump is taking on Maduro, just listen to this. Whose purpose is to weaponize drugs against the United States, to use gangs like Tren de Aragua, and to attack us through counterintelligence and espionage, and even your own democratic process as weapons. Smartmatic, that's Dominion, ES&S, Hart InterCivic, Feature Smartmatic Features, was born as an electoral tool of the Venezuelan regime, but soon derived into a tool to help keep the regime stay in power forever. I know this because I placed the head of IT of the National Electoral Council in his position, and he reported directly to me, the Smartmatic system can be altered. This is a fact. The technology was later exported abroad, including the United States. Regime operatives maintain relationships with election officials and voting machine companies inside your country. I do not claim that every election is stolen, but I state with certainty that elections can be rigged with the software and has been used to do so. The regime I serve is not merely hostile, it is at war with you. And President Trump's policies against the Maduro criminal regime are not justified, but necessary and proportionate to the threat. I absolutely support President Trump's policy toward Venezuela because it is in the self-defense he is acting based on the truth. Read and share Hugo Carvajal Barrios' full message to the American people. So here's his letter. Okay, so that's this guy. Now you can choose to believe him or not. That's completely up to you. But this is picking up. The Dallas Express has it. Exclusive former Maduro spy chief's letter to Trump seeks to expose narco-terrorist war against the U.S. So, Mike, this is involving, of course, Venezuela now. That technology being utilized in Dominion. Dominion was bought by Liberty Vote. Bought actually that it wasn't Liberty Vote. It was rebranded Liberty Vote. It was bought by. What's interesting about that? So they had that big Fox News settlement. So I think ostensibly the company's worth would be $787 million, somewhere in that realm. The guy who bought it has never made. I mean, when he was No Ink, that was $20 million business. So how is he coming up with all the money to buy this? What is the end game? What do you know about that?
Well, all I know is this: they're liars. He's a big liar, one of the biggest liars the country's ever seen, because he came out and said, I'm buying Dominion and I'm going to name it Liberty Vote and I'm a Republican. Well, good for you, Special K. You said one other big lie. You said you were dropping the cases against Rudy Giuliani, OAN, Mike Lindell, My Pillow, and all the others. The case are going to get dropped. You guys, he's a liar. They didn't drop any case. They went to those guys and made deals walk-away deals. We've already destroyed you, Mayor. We've took you. You're completely destroyed. But part of the deal is we'll walk away, but you don't ever mention any bad thing about a voting machine again. How about you, OEM? We'll do the same thing to you. Theirs was made very public. It's a walk-away deal. That's not dropping the case, everybody. So when they little Dominion and this Ludendorfer, whatever his name is, that bought it, supposedly bought it, right? What'd you pay for it, huh? Why would you buy a company that you know is going down?
Yeah, there was no disclosure on what he paid for.
That you wouldn't know. Nobody would buy Dominion with they're in the public eye. Their name is shamed. What they did to our country. And anyway, so you guys, they didn't drop my pillow and Mike Lindell. They came to me and said, "Hey, how about you walk away and you never talk bad about us again? How about not? How about you all belong in prison? There's the deal. You go to prison, do not pass go, do not collect $200, go straight to prison. We'll take your machines, we'll melt them down into prison bars and put all of you criminals behind bars. That's what needs to be done. It's disgusting. Don't come to me after you sued My Pillow in February of 21. They did nothing to you. Dominion, you sued My Pillow, my employee company. You sued me because I questioned your machines, because I reached out with my rate to do as a government private contractor, and you sued My Pillow and you sued me, and you ran. I spent tens of $millions on this lawsuit. All this discovery, everybody. Oh, let's get more discovery. Discovery what? I got all the evidence. I'm telling my lawyers, I got all the evidence. Let's just show that. It's over. We save our country. Here's the evidence. No, no, you just keep putting in money, Mike, until you go broke. Then what they just did, Neil, this is this week, everybody. Early in the week, maybe it was last week, it came out in the news that Dominion is deleting all of their records because they don't want to pay $150,000 anymore a month to store them, and all their lawsuits are over. Really? It's over? I didn't see it drop mine. And how do you know what I'm going to do to you guys? You think I'm going to let this stand and let you just come in and destroy everybody in my company and you're going to walk away? You think I'm just going to let you walk away with, and you get to call it Liberty Vote. You change the name on your machine. You peel the sticker back and say Dominion, Dominion, Dominion. Give me a break.
So Mike, so what you're thinking, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but basically through the purchase of that, rebranding it as Liberty Vote, it gives them an excuse to ostensibly delete records, to delete that information.
No, absolutely not. You can. Somebody's in lawsuits, and you're buying. If this guy really bought the company, he bought everything that came with it. In fact, he said that. He goes, "That's why we're dropping these cases." Well, you're a liar. You said that this summer. You didn't drop My Pillow and Mike Lindell. You think I'm ever gonna? Probably why they haven't done it, Neil, because part of the deal, they want to make a deal, which is not dropping a case. They can go drop it. I think it's called without prejudice. Go drop it. Go ahead and drop it without prejudice. I don't care if you can still come back and sue again. Go drop your case, Dominion and Liberty Vote. Give me a break. That guy, this is all going to be exposed, Neil. But there's so many things coming out about Dominion. And by the way, how do you buy this company and you have the same machines that aren't in compliance? And with the executive order, Donald Trump, none of these machines are in compliance, made with China parts. Even if they weren't used for corruption, they're defective devices. Okay, you can't use them. That's when I was going around to every state, starting with Arizona, then Alabama. I was going to go to every state. Imagine cars where the brakes were bad, and you'd have a recall on it, right, everybody? Here's what they did with the voting machines. The whistleblower you just talked about too, there's another whistleblower, and he has said straight out, all voting machines, including ES&S voting machines, Dominion, Hart, all these ones, Smartmatic, they're all made with vulnerabilities on purpose. And why are they, everybody? Because if they get caught, then they say, oh, it was a vulnerability. It was a machine malfunction. It was a programming error. They can use all these excuses, everybody. The Dominion machines, our own cyber guys found the keys to, like, imagine a safe where the combination is written on the safe. They're inside every single machine. Here it is. You want to hack? Have a ball. Look at Halderman did. He hacked it in 5 minutes with a ballpoint pen.
With a ballpoint pen. Mike,
it's disgusting.
This is, since I covered the Arizona audit at length. I covered Carrie Lake's, thing down there, her election in 2022 at length. And one of the, and also Colorado with Jenna Griswold. And one of the things that I saw, and I keep talking about how Democrats always fail upwards, right? So they fail and then they get promoted. The voting machine companies obviously fail. And then not only that, they tell you that once these machines are looked at, they've quote unquote been tampered with, and then they get a new contract for all new machines. So they are rewarded for the incompetence of their machines that can't even be audited.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I mean, it's so corrupt. Even you guys, even if let's just take all the hacking and that out of that thread out of there, you guys. There's never been machines made with so much built-in corruption and defective. I mean, think of this. You think of our ATM machines that are out there. Okay, a company, the private companies and the banks behind them, how many times has it failed? I've had some fail on me, but you know what? They look into the computer and they find what happened, right?
Yes.
And and how many times do you not get enough bills? I mean, they're built pretty good, but you know what? But they all have back doors. And every single, if there was a corrupt at that bank, sure, they might get caught, but they would, you'd be shorted and criminally hacked into, right? But then to find the hack, you go in and you open up the machines and you find out who hacked it, where they hacked it. In the 2020 elections, remember SolarWinds, where they came in and hacked everything.
SolarWinds.
Hacked everything. SolarWinds.
Solar freaking wins.
And that got shut down. When back then, you had white hat hackers for the government that go in, they would check out where the breach came and they'd patch it, and you go find the bad hackers, and it would start this cycle all over again. But you can't have this happen in an election, everybody. Even if it's a 1 in a billion, you're going to bet your company on it. I mean, you're going to bet your country on it. No. All companies that get hacked, there's hacking going on all the time with computers, but you can't use computers in elections. Elon Musk said it again last week. He's kind of a smart guy. You can't use computers in elections. Period.
Yes. A guy who's really into computing, a guy who wants to sell computing, he's telling you don't use it in elections.
Exactly. And he knows what will happen. We'll lose our country. So we're never going to stop fighting, you guys. We're going to keep going. And by the way, everybody, if you want to help out, you guys, there's the My Pillow codes and help out my company, help my employees. I want to have them sitting in a great place next week when I make a big announcement.
Giza sheets are up there top now, Mike. Look at that.
Lowest $29.98, you guys. I'm telling you, this is the sale of the century, the biggest Christmas sale we've ever had. Free shipping on your entire order with promo code Lumberjack. You guys, 800-568-2865. You guys, you got to take advantage of this. So this
is the greatest product on the face of God's green earth. I mean, and you use the Giza cotton in the duvet and in the waffle blanket. I am like Giza everything now.
Right. And you guys, I'm going to tell you, where the Giza term came from? When I first went checking out, it's a long story, but when I checked to see where the best cotton was in the world, it's over in a place between the Nile River, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Sahara Desert, where the weather conditions are perfect for one crop, cotton. And their staples grow longer, stronger. It's just amazing. I put that Giza name on their Giza Dreams, the Giza Dreams, and because back then they had compromised Egyptian cotton, and they had, with all these additives they had put in there, and they lied to the people. So I ended up buying the whole crop that year, so nobody could mix anything with it. But that's where the Giza's Dream sheets were born, and they are the best sheets. We've changed nothing on them. You will sleep better than you've ever slept.
Mike, I know you got people and you got to go, but I want to ask you one other quick question since I got this product right here. I'm going to pull this out for just 1 second. Folks, there's the kitchen towels and accessories, and I want to talk to you quickly about these kitchen towels because I just got them. So I'm going to be using these. These are 100% cotton. They're antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial. So isn't that based on So like you get these really stinky dishcloths.
Yeah, right,
and
right.
they're cotton dishcloths, but isn't that based on like what is actually done to the cotton, not the cotton itself?
Yeah, my team, we with every product we develop, we look at problem solution, and one of the problem is just like you said, the smell. So once you use the washcloths, the
Yeah.
dishcloths, and we solve every problem solution, and hence you get the best kitchen towels and kitchen cloths ever made, the biggest discount we've ever put on them, and free shipping on your entire order. And and by the way, in the kitchen, you're going, what do you mean? You have oven mitts, you have aprons, you guys. We have over 250 products. Right now, do all your Christmas shopping. We're giving you the free shipping, the biggest savings in history, 800-568-2865. And I want to tell you, you're going to get one of my operators. They've been with My Pillow a long time. When you're at My Pillow, it's careers. They've tried to destroy My Pillow, but my home operators, moms and dads working from home, the ones that are, our own government in Arctic Frost attacked them too and tried to make them so they couldn't work from home and sell you these great products. But we won. We won those. That was 2 years ago, everybody. So they're very grateful, and they're grateful for all of you this time of year that they really rely on all you guys giving them a call. So this is a win-win-win-win. You're helping my home reps and stuff by calling the number. You're helping my employees, my employee-owned company, by buying these great products, keeping us busy, keep from all the attacks. You're getting yourself free shipping. You're getting the best products ever, and you're helping sponsor this great show by Neil here at using promo code Lumberjack. Come on, wait, it's a win-win-win. It's
It's like a quintuple win, man. I'm telling you, Mike. I want to thank you for joining me today, and
thanks, guys.
I know Heather's doing a great job for you. I talked to her today, so thanks for that as well, folks. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next episode, folks. Peace out.
Thanks, guys.